And good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's good to be back. I mean, we were back last night, but the morning show back. It's been we took a couple days off, feeling refreshed, right, Tracker?
Yeah, it felt good to take a couple of days off and just, like an extra long weekend. I mean, not for you. You just work every day anyway. But
Yeah, but it's good to be a little less busy. So that was nice.
I agree.
All right,
Well, let's just,
so
without further ado,
yeah, we'll
let's
jump
get
right
into
into it. We see some requests coming, and we're going to start with the SPY. Take a look here. Yeah, it's making its way back towards the 648.98. We can also put on the other indicators too. I just have the daily chart in front of me so we can see some day-over-day trends. And it held the baseline basically all the way up through here, so nothing was damaged, nothing ever went scary. And we're getting pretty close to that 1.272 again. So is it going to break free? I mean, today is Nvidia earnings, so it's spooky out there, getting close to resistance. So we'll find out, but that's the target before maybe any kind of retrace, 648.98. And we can go to the QQQ as well, is back above. Yesterday it closed back above the conversion line as well, and it's making its way back to resistance of the 578.46. So just range bound again, and we can look for that 50 SMA still never got touched. That's at 559, so that could also be a possibility in the future before it breaks through that 578. But the trend is still there. Very, very bullish chart. And IWM is kind of the outlier here. It's just continuing the journey higher this whole time, regardless of the little mini pullbacks of the SPY and the QQQ and this fib. Right here, I want to point out linear scale, it's the 886, right? The log scale, it's already above its 886, but linear scale, the 235.05, that's what I'm watching specifically. And break above that, then it's pretty much good to go back towards all-time highs. So almost there, but not quite. So we're at a resistance point right now. So a little bit caution there. And what we can do is just go take a look at Bitcoin as well. And I have open there. I was going to do that, but I'm just going to take a look at Bitcoin first. Bitcoin, we can see it's back below the conversion line, and it's basically just stuck in a range. But it hit my 109, 110 zone that I talked about before, the bottom of the arc. And actually, I'll go back and show that right here with this chart for Bitcoin, that it did go back to the bottom of that chart and just or bottom of that arc and just nail it, right? So as a previous resistance, as a breakout, as a back test of that. And so far it's been very successful. So all that doom and gloom for a back test seems unwarranted. It's still a very healthy chart. And I'll take a look at Tesla as well. And we can see that Tesla is trying to break free this week, really trying to break free of the arc of the cloud and maybe, just maybe, of the log-based fib right here, which is the 886 at 353. So it's not free and clear yet. It has a hurdle still to overcome, and that hurdle includes that 886 fib, which is right there at 353.19. So let's see if the weekly candle can close above all of those together with one bullish engulfing candle. If so, it's going to be the first weekly candle close back above it since it broke down back in February, which would be a huge trend reversal for the continuation towards all-time highs. Tracker.
yeah, I've got my Tesla chart here, log scale. I'm just looking at a big kind of a cup with a handle, right? Let's see. There's my little drawing tool. Cup, kind of a messy cup, and handle with another little handle. So it just needs more handles and then new all-time high, right? So I don't know. I would love to see Tesla get to. Oh, no, stop that. Not this tool. I'd love to see Tesla get to almost 700 sometime. It's hard. I've tried to do these log scale um, channels, and if it never breaks this channel, then wave three is like 692.25 in 2027. I mean, but it could break. It could break that faster. Like, in other words, you could just do, I don't know. You guys know me. I'm like timing so hard. Maybe in 2026. Anyway, I would. I'm just watching for the day that we get to challenge that 42069 again, which could be sooner than later. Even my friend Marcus Aurelius did a harmonic, and he thought that maybe we could even see 365 by the end of this week, which would take it back up to, yeah, to re-challenge this previous spike right here. Let's get that out of the way. Maybe this week it would just even go right up back up there again. Looks pretty strong on the the MCDX Plus right here. Lots of institutional buying versus the retail buying. Most of the retail is kind of disenfranchised like me about Tesla. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be, they just keep selling off the short term, putting off all the gains for the long term, which they finally let it off, and then it just sells off really fast again. All right. I don't know what to talk about next. Oh, no, I do know what to talk about next. I was going to do, I had one up. Let me just do open. And while I try to remember what I was doing before I pulled up Tesla. Yeah, open. I think I showed this chart last week. There's just a major downward trend line that was resistance all this way, and it recently broke out of that trend line. Broke out of it, tested back to it as support. So this is a major trend shift. I think Matt would call it a change of character, anyway. Yeah, and so now it just seems to be wanting to, instead of testing supports, it's testing resistances, which is exactly what you want in a stock to be bullish. I do have this from this low to this high to this higher low, a projection that it's going for the 141 eventually in 5 impulsive waves. And so far we're out. Let me bring this to the 16-hour chart. Oh yeah, here we go. Much easier to read. I took my things off. Let's see. Here's the start. So somewhere around kind of the 618, not quite the 236. So we're in wave 3 now to the 1236 or the 1382. Let's say 1382, 100, 2382. And that's kind of what I had for all this. Anyway, from where prices now, last time was 83%. Now it's 59% to get to the $7.83, the 1382. After that, expect that to be resistance. Comes back down to check $6.12. Then it doubles itself up to $12.29 for wave 5. Back to you, Matt. I'll figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was just going to show my open chart. I have some new sets of fibs on here, but I just wanted to show you guys from the all-time high to the all-time low. It's actually back above the 50% fib. So being back above that is very, very bullish for open. And is it Palantiring on the low time frame? I don't even know what that means really, but to be Palantiring, it has to be really close to the 886 and breaking out to go to the fib extensions above. So that's just ways away from that. It's just basically finally getting out of its bear market, right? After all of this huge bear market, finally got out of it. And it basically got out of it after it got back above the 267. And we got some confirmation right there back on early August. So now it's trying to build a new base at a higher level. We're going to watch that 447. We're going to watch that downward sloping purple 200-week moving average at 378. Stay above it. It can go to the $7 and above. So that's the new zone I'm really watching for this. So it proved to us it can be more bullish, and this is the kind of confirmation I wait for. I don't try to catch falling knives. I'm always suspicious on them until they can really break the trend, and this one did prove that it wants to break the trend. So now we're going to watch that 447, 378 hold as support. And I do want to take a look at SoFi as well. Speaking of a Palantiring candidate, and SoFi. I get them confused now. They're so similar. No.
Yeah.
The 886, yeah, it broke above it 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, and it hasn't really looked back, right? It did do a back test, and now it's going towards previous all-time highs. And what we can see is like these weekly candles right up here basically was last week was almost the highest weekly candle close ever, right? The only time it was higher was way back here, back in January of 2021, but there's never been a weekly candle close that high before. So it's basically range bound 2276, 2826. That is the zone until it's able to break free and get more bullish. Once it can break above that, there still is some arc resistance above that too. Maybe depending on time, maybe the 32s, 31, $30 zone. But essentially, once it can break free of all of this, then it's going to be good to go to the 40s, and as what I see. So it's going to be a process. I don't want to be too bullish at the previous all-time high because we've seen numerous times what happened to Ethereum, what happened to Tesla, what happened to so many other ones that have previous all-time highs. They got above it, then they just went back for a correction. So cautious up here at the 2826 because it could retest the 886 at any point before continuing that journey higher. And I'll do Rocket Lab as well. RKLB, this one did reclaim the 1.414 fib, 45.21. That was kind of a prerequisite. But I did mention the whole time, at least to my Patreon people, that it once we broke out, there could be a back test of that angle before it continues higher. And that's exactly what it did. It broke out, retested that angle, previous support that was lost back in February, regained back in June, breakout back test of that angle, and back above the 45.21. So it's a bullish stock. Stay above that 45.21 and that angle. It's going to continue its trajectory towards the 65.45 above tracker.
Yeah, I've got. I was going to show Rocket Lab as well, but I'll skip SoFi. So, but here's my Rocket Lab chart weekly. Here's the entire thing from beginning to where we are now. You can see, like, really just stuck to that around 347 for the longest time. It was stuck under the 382, almost the 5, under the 298. But finally, it did build its way out, and now we're sort of in this. Just imagine these. I've got to do a version of this where the green's on this side and the red's on that side, so I can do it either from either side. But I did this across the top and pulled it down, so it puts the green on the bottom. But yeah, we're in these channels now. I've got a linear scale fib from the bottom to wave 1 top, wave 2 bottom. We are in wave 4. I'm sorry, wave 5 now. Looks like we finished wave 4. It kind of went 6, 1. No, what do I want to say? My linear scale projection says it's heading for 85.89, which would get it over that log scale 1618. Yeah, give it a new all-time high. So, but definitely look for it. You know, the 141 here is support now. It definitely seems that way when you get really close. Yeah, we were like stuck around it for the longest time. Like, I know it's really small on your screen. I got to make it bigger. Here's that 141, and price just stuck to it like glue for a very long time. Did this grab down here, and now we're going back up. So yeah, I think it wants to follow like a bullish over arc instead of like the under arc. It seems to be an over arc, and yeah, look for it to be resistance. Maybe I don't know. Maybe when it hits here, this band right here, and then kind of tries to come up to 1618, and then that becomes like a smaller wave 4, and then it melts up to 85.89, or maybe it has to, I don't know. I say that a lot lately. Yeah, there we go. That's mostly what I have to say. Look for 5602 to be the resistance at first next. So that's a good ways up there. CYFRD. I think I've got some of this. I just bought it kind of early. Bought it too early. Here's the whole thing. This one's based on Solana, and as I was reminded in last night's show, Solana is in the top 10 of the cryptocurrencies, and CYFRD, Soul Strategies, is going heavy into that strategy. And yeah, I think it's found support over what I'm calling the center point here. I'm just ignoring this this wiki candle right here and just going to the bottom down here. So support, resistance at the 50% level. Now it's tested as at support, and so it can go up. And my, let's see, I don't have it here, but I think my linear scale fib projections did want to see it go. Yeah, to test the 886. I've got what would happen if it goes to the 114 here, but really it's going to be in 5 waves. That will, I've got to see it what the next high is to see which one it's going to do. But just say, let's just say, for example, what if it did the 764, 382, 1382, 100, 2382. Put the lines back in and get closer. So yeah, look for it to finish up this handle with this first circle 1, and then it can start doing extensions to make new higher highs over the recent highs. 3267 back to 1916, up to 54, up to 89, and we're down here at it's about $7 right now here in pre-market trading. All right, back to you, Matt.
Since tomorrow is Nvidia, I mean not tomorrow, today is Nvidia earnings.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Let's just take a look at Nvidia. What is it doing? Well, I do have a weekly chart here to show you guys, and we are showing possible stability on top of this 1.272 fib from the high back in January and the low back in April. And in fact, it did close last week below it, but right now it's reclaiming it. So the answer, or the question is, will it just turn into a wick and then go back to the conversion line? Because it did open the weekly candle below that 178. So technically it still could just be a resistance zone pretending to try to flip to support. Let's find out. But that conversion line would be around 168. So if there would be any kind of a back test, I think that would probably be a target, simply because if you look at it, it hasn't touched it since it broke out in April, right? You can see that blue conversion line has been like miles away from it the whole time. So just maybe a quick little touch or a wick through into the 160s would kind of make sense. So we'll see. We'll see if that does want to happen. But I think just after a monster run, you can't be too greedy up here for Nvidia earnings. But it's not a cause for fear. This is a very bullish chart. It's going to continue to be bullish whether or not it wants to retest that level, and it's going to, in my view, it's going to continue to the 200s, like the 217 or beyond, because this chart has a lot of momentum and it has a lot of bullishness in its favor. So I will be watching that 178.80, but it's not really guaranteed to stay above it. So because of that, I just need to look for a potential back test, because it's going to do it at some point, right? Some point in the future, it's going to touch that conversion line, whether it's this week or next. So that's going to be my downside target if they have a miss, that 168 or a little bit below. And AMD, this one, we can see that it is finding stability on top of that 702 fib, and also is just getting rejected at this big resistance zone, the 786, the 180.04, could not really break above it. And in fact, it was a huge resistance in the past in 2024. So essentially, also that conversion line is right down there around 160. So we could get some kind of wick through there as well. But this zone has been holding very, very well. So I think we'll just continue to watch it. 164 down to 160. I think that has potential to stabilize in that price until it's really ready to break this big 180 resistance zone above tracker.
All right, I'm just going to do Cooler, and I'm going to throw it right back to you just to let you know. Cooler here, from its all-time low of 80 cents to its all-time high of 43.92, which it just did between 2024 and 2025, and then it's been selling off ever since. That first quarter. Then April 7th happened, and it never went high. It's just in a downtrend. It's still in a downtrend. Here you can see on the weekly chart, the Ichimoku conversion line is acting as resistance the whole way down, just as if it were bullish and the conversion line was support. Here it's resistance the whole way down. I really can't tell you. I'm just eyeballing this chart and kind of how it kind of scoops across this way. I kind of want to feel like so it tried to do a reversal, but it couldn't. It could be stuck in a really, really long handle here for a long time. I'm not bullish on Cooler anymore. I would stay out of the away from this. Everyone's looking for it to do a mean reversion back up, which it could do. So you can be profitable in the short term, but I don't like it for the long term at the moment. I don't know, Matt. Do you have a different take on Cooler? Does it look any more bullish than I'm seeing? I'm seeing it kind of looking bearish.
Yeah, it broke way too much support, and the line in the sand for me was when it started breaking below like the $6 range. It's like, oh, it's game over.
Yeah, that's center pivot
Yeah,
again, right?
yeah,
Here was support. Was supposed to be support. Support lost it. Then suddenly, just like everyone got excited about Cooler, when it busted out. Oh, am I looking at the wrong? No, that's right. It busted out last year, but now it's lost its momentum, and just ever since it sold off, and the April 7th event, and then it hasn't recovered. So
yeah,
not too great looking.
yeah. And there's a gap there too, still. So down below on
Oh, really?
the
Oh,
on the weekly
I
chart. So
took this off.
in the threes.
Oh, yeah, there it is. right,
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
it could want to fill that gap.
it could easily fill it. So, a test of the 382 at 370 would probably be, I would venture to guess that would be its low point before
Yeah,
it wants to start coming back up again. H1, let's do H. Wait, hype is the crypto, right? That's not the.
yeah. They're cryptos. Yeah.
Go back to you. Go ahead, Matt. Take it away.
Yeah, I was gonna do Neo and Plug. I did a Neo post yesterday, so I'll start with Plug here. And essentially, Plug, it's trying to become a little bit more bullish here, but still stuck under a lot of resistance. And that resistance, especially this green 50-week moving average, that's kind of going to be important for a big time frame, high time frame trend reversal. It doesn't really have that yet because the last time it really closed a weekly candle above it was essentially back in 2022, but that was still in the bear market because it had the cloud above it as resistance. And then also in 2021, that was just the beginning of the bear market right there. So that 50-week moving average, I would say, is a good indicator of a trend reversal. And we don't really have it yet because it still is below. And every time it tries to break above it, it just gets rejected and goes lower. So if we're going to look for stability, maybe just look at this 45-degree angle down here at 133. Maybe the baseline there around 136. If it can stabilize above that, then perhaps it's going to get a little bit more bullish. But it's not really a bullish chart yet, in my view, because it's still just a perpetual downtrend. So we're going to have to be a little bit more patient with this one to see how it develops. But it does have potential as long as it holds this 130 zone, right? If that happens, it can be more bullish. We can look at Neo as well and take a look again, just what I posted yesterday. And with Neo, I see that it's actually breaking into the arc here, and it's above the cloud. See, this is something that I would need to see Plug do to get more bullish. Actually, break through the cloud, and that is a good indicator of trying to reverse its downtrend and becoming a more bullish chart, and which this is doing. So we're going to watch this top of the cloud, which is around 560s. We're going to watch the arc here, which is right around current price pre-market, the 650s. So we'll see if that can stabilize inside the arc. If so, and maybe no need to go back to the cloud. But either way, being back above this cloud is a huge trend change because it hasn't been above the cloud since basically 2021. So big difference there. It's been in a forever downtrend. And trying to catch a falling knife is just sometimes a brutal thing until you see a trend reversal. And we finally got that. So I think now if you really want to go into it, it's probably a better opportunity than it ever was before because we have not seen this before. So stay above the 560s, I would say, and this chart can get more and more bullish. Go ahead, tracker.
All right. I talked about BMR last night, but I'll just do a quick recap to say that I'm going to ignore most of the price action that happened before 2021 just because the numbers get really silly. So I'm just doing a retracement and I'm also ignoring where price went down to like less than 2 thousandths of a cent. So from the $1.93 low back to this 880 high, the numbers still get kind of silly, but not nearly as silly as they were before that. It runs right back up over the 50% center pivot between those two price levels, and let's see, big bullish engulfing candle through it. Test back just a bit below it. Test to see how much farther it can get below that, because everyone kept looking at this gap down here, thinking they could fill it and price recover it back over this center point. 41.18 is a very important price for the stock. It could do maybe one more touchback to 41.18. That would be fine and healthy and good if it did. But after that, holding up that as support, I really expect it to start to go higher. And to like just really like start to like 3x and then 5x and et cetera. So I'm quite bullish on BMR, and let's look on the weekly chart. I just want to look at this. The numbers aren't there yet for the institutional buyers. They're kind of, it's 1/3 retail, 1/3 institution, 1/3 traders on the weekly chart. Same thing here. The institutions have sort of disappeared since they pumped it up to 73.06. And so at some point when you see them come back in, that's when you'll start to see this round up again. But what I wanted to do was DXYZ. I posted something this morning about DXYZ, or no, wait, maybe it was last week. I just posted a caution that DXYZ could be stuck for a while, kind of trending down towards $21.80. We had a really nice launch last night during our live show, actually, during the Triumvirate. SpaceX launched and did a really nice test of Starship number 10. And in pre-market, it did snap up here a little bit from last night to this morning. If it continues this morning, look for it to resist around 32, probably right here at 32.01, where this previous high was. If it can get a little higher than that, then maybe it'll test the moving average 75 up here. But I'd look for about 32.04 first as resistance. If it can get over that, then look for it to head for the 16-hour moving average 75 up here. And then if it can do that, then you'll see it bounce between the two for a little bit before it breaks one way or the other. But staying over the center pivot would be really critical for it to go bullish now. Otherwise, it could easily just keep sliding down until it tests and even breaks this lower trend line that it's made here in this triangle. So there you go. 29.43 is the most important price right now with DXYZ. I'm bullish above it and bearish for a little bit longer below it, but bullish overall over the long term. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, let's do some crypto now. I'll do that hype and BNB. I actually have BNB pulled up right now. So what's going on here? Well, it's all-time high territory, right? It's a bullish chart. It's probably going to the 1.272, maybe the 1.44, 1,000, maybe 1,200. So it's very, very nice. And it already broke out again back in July. So that was the beginning of what we're seeing now. So it's bullish, right? And nothing really bearish about it. The conversion line's down here at 770. So perhaps just keep holding that and it can continue the journey higher. You can also look at hype and hyper liquid, and there's not too much data, but it's also all-time high territory. So we're just going to keep watching that $42 zone, stay above it. It's going to go to the 63.79, maybe even the hundreds above. But since there's not too much data, all we can do is a fib from the high to the low and watch that conversion line momentum, which it has been holding for a long time, since basically April. So some bullish chart. Both are in all-time high territory, looking fantastic. We can go look at Ethereum as well. Let's go to my Ethereum chart. Yeah, it's going pretty close to the previous all-time high as well, 48.68. So there's really no change from last week. It did a breakout, almost at a back test last week of the 4,000, fell a little bit short. everybody's like, oh, it's going to go back there and retest 4,000. Maybe. I mean, it's a previous huge resistance, but since everybody's expecting it, maybe it's not going to happen, and maybe it's just going to blast through the 48.68. So just range bound, still trying to break out. Nothing bearish about this chart. Any back tests are welcome to Ethereum, and it's just weird how everybody was like screaming, oh, it's going to go to the moon up here when it was trying to break that 4,900. And then once it went back down, it's like, oh, it's going to be a bear market. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But that's just the emotions when it comes to this volatility. Sometimes you think it's just going to be bearish all of a sudden. But in reality, when you look at the charts, it's still a super, super duper bullish chart. So, Tracker, back to you.
All right, here's new holdings, and I was just trying to show you guys how it can look like it looks like a giant W for winning right about here. And we were talking about this last night in the show, how these W's form because of the moving averages. I tried to, this is my moving average 300, and it only starts here because there's 300 periods before it. But this is, sort of what it looks like before that. And you can actually start to do this if you like do a 300 moving average, a 299, a 298, 297, 296, etc. for a while. It kind of works. Yeah, and then so what's happening is competition between the moving average, higher time frame moving average and lower time frame moving average. And I guess if I threw the 200s, 100s, 50s in here, it would also sort of show you what it probably hits like the, what am I trying to say? I'll just skip to the where I think it's going. Sorry, I had half an idea there and I didn't quite get to finish it out. But this aside, it looks like a big kind of a cup that's kind of spilling over the top and a handle. It's definitely a bullish chart. You can see the lifetime trend is up, and it's already gone from it's exceeded its previous all-time high, tested back to the 786. Gosh, it's up about 786 to the 886 to the 786 again, and then the 100% level a couple times here. Does it need one more 886? It's possible. I'd say at the worst downside, it comes down to 886 one more time, 1053 and an exact touch, and then it can explode up higher. But barring that, if it could just go straight up without going back lower, the best thing to do here would be, let's just do a lifetime. I'm going to do linear fib extension. So as long as it doesn't make a lower low than 897, I would expect it to do something like, it's gotten 382, 236. How about 1236, 764, 2236? Give me that one right here. Yeah, something like that. So, in which case it's already done. The circle 1 and the circle 2 are complete. So if it can get higher than $14 and the 114 here is 1420, it's right about the one. It's just over the 114 right now. Then expect to see it continue past 17, 19, and on up to 25. Gosh, how far is that? 76%, 77% higher. I would just put a stop below. Man, I don't want anyone to get stop loss run. Maybe below 12, like below 1276, not at 1276, but if you put a stop loss like 1250 and lower, then, or you put the stop loss where you want to put it, but it could definitely from here it could go up or down. Your downside risk is 26% versus your upside quote unquote risk is 77% up. So there's my differential diagnosis for new holdings. All right, back to you, Matt. Why don't you finish off the show today?
Yeah, I'll finish off with EOS. I just have it on my screen. So EOS is actually starting to break out, and it broke above this arc right here. Actually, last week it broke back above it, stabilized above it, and now we're going back to this big resistance of 704. So that's going to be the area to watch. Can it break above this week? We'll find out. But it is resistance. It has been resistance forever. It never broke above it ever since kind of it broke down back in 2021. So Getting back above that would be a very bullish scenario, but until then, can't be too bullish at resistance because it could easily get rejected again. It's a volatile stock and go back and retest some levels. So let's watch that 704 for Friday. Close above it. It could actually continue higher. So with that, guys, we will see you tomorrow.
Yep.
And have a good hump day.
Yeah, happy hump day, everybody. Good luck out there.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye.
We're rooting for you.